Angela Irwin, MBA, is an international confidence coach, TEDx speaker, and the founder of Joyful Life Solutions, dedicated to empowering women to cultivate lasting confidence. Amid the pandemic, she established the Joyful Life Cochlear Implant Fund, aiding fellow implant recipients in accessing vital technology. Angela, once deaf, but now hears with cochlear implants, she champions resilience, demonstrating that challenges can lead to unforeseen opportunities. Welcome, Angela. We're delighted to have you speak today.
Thank you. So I am so excited to have some time to share with you today about how authenticity can help boost your confidence. But full disclosure, I am the last person who ever thought that they would be working in the space of confidence, because for the majority of my life, I thought that confidence was either something that you had or something that you didn't have. And I didn't really have it, not at the core. Now, for 15 years during my corporate career in marketing and clinical education, I was, confident at some points in time. I was successful and had multiple promotions and things like that. But deep down at the core, I didn't really feel confident. And in fact, I was always seeking external validation and approval to feel good about myself. About 8 years ago, I did a career change, and during a year-long coaching certification program, I experienced what I refer to as a crisis of confidence. Now, that's putting it very mildly. It was much deeper than that, but for the interest of time, I'll just refer to it as a crisis of confidence. Fortunately, during that time, I found a great therapist and was working with some wonderful coaches and learned and worked through that situation, but had some profound learning during that time. And that was really the silver lining. So two of those things I want to share is the first being that we can actually change the way that we feel about ourselves. Now, even though our core beliefs that we have about ourselves go way back to early childhood, they're formed in early childhood, which is also something I didn't know, but we do have the ability to change them. And the other profound learning that I had during that time was that, contrary to my previous belief, confidence is something that we can actually build. It is like a muscle. If we know how to do it, we can indeed begin to build it. And so as soon as I learned those things, that's what I knew, that's what I wanted to focus my coaching on. And so, helping people improve their relationship with themselves and also building their confidence. And so I'm excited to have some time to talk with you about that today. I want to share with you a 3-step process that I have about a confidence building process. But first, I want to bust some myths or maybe shake up a little bit of some of the misconceptions that you might have around things relating to confidence. So first off, hands up. So raise your hand if you are 100% confident 100% of the time. So you can put your hand up, you can do a reaction. Anybody? So I can't see everybody, but if I had to guess, there would be very few hands in the air. Because here's what I know for sure. No one is 100% confident 100% of the time. Now, perhaps a caveat to that would be if someone was not getting out of their comfort zone on their regular basis, not stretching and growing and learning and changing, then perhaps someone might be confident 100% of the time. But aside from that, we're not. And I think it's important to sort of level set that expectation, because I think sometimes, like me, we can have this belief that maybe people are just confident all the time. And so that can hold us back. And that just simply is not the case. So definitely remember that part. The second thing I wanted to share is that people are going to judge you regardless. And especially in this crazy world of social media that we live in these days, People are all too quick to jump and to judge and to critique and offer their opinions. Whenever I say the word opinion, it makes me think of a coworker that I had a long time ago, and he would say, opinions are like armpits. Everyone has them, but most of them stink. And so that always makes me laugh. But it is so true. And so we have just this one life. And so ask yourself, how do you want to show up for this one go around that we have? Do you want to allow someone's potential opinion or critique of you to hold you back? Or do you want to do what is meaningful to you and put yourself out there and be authentic? And the third thing, comparison is the thief of all joy. And this one can really hold us back in all areas of our lives, but certainly when we're looking at our goals and our dreams and things that we're aspiring to do. Now, it's absolutely human nature to look at what other people are doing. And again, this is where social media isn't so helpful because it looks the appearance that some people are putting forth. We've got like the highlight reels, some people only share all the good stuff. But that's not authentic or realistic because we all know that life is full of peaks and valleys and we all have challenges. And so if we can just remember that when you're wanting to get outside of your comfort zone, to limit how much time you're looking at what other people are doing. It's certainly there's no such thing as an overnight success. It might appear that way, but I guarantee you that people have gone through tough things and they've put a lot of time and effort in it. It might, maybe you just came into knowing them at a time when they, hit fame or something like that. So I wanted to share those things with you because I think that's a good reminder as we move into trying to be more authentic. So some of you may already be familiar with the Japanese art of kintsugi. And it really is so if they have ceramics or pottery that break or have cracks in them, instead of throwing the whole thing out or discarding the whole things, they repair them, the cracks, with gold and other precious metals. And so that then the cracks or the flaws become the most beautiful, valuable parts. And I just think that that is such an amazing metaphor for embracing our flaws, embracing our imperfections, and embracing our own uniqueness. And, we're not meant to be like anyone else. As I mentioned, everyone on this planet has gone through difficult things. So, good, bad, horrible, all of our experiences shape us into who we are. And I know when I learned about kintsugi, it definitely changed the way I looked at myself from a broken and flawed person who felt shame about going deaf throughout my childhood. This really helped me change my perspective. And, it brings us all to the place exactly where we are. And so we're each the person as a result of all of our experiences, and it's unique to each of us. And so this has brought me to a place where I am able to serve other people and help other people step into a more confident and joyful life. So how do we take that kintsugi and how do we then also become more authentic or step more into authenticity? And the answer to that is vulnerability. Now, I love this quote from the queen of vulnerability herself, Brene Brown. Vulnerability is not a weakness, it is pure courage. And that's a very different concept than a lot of us were raised with, but it is so true. If you think about it, it takes a lot more courage to open yourself up, to share what you're truly feeling, what you're truly experiencing, than it does to just have a facade up and go through life in that way. Now, I can remember one of the first times that I was truly vulnerable about something super deep that I had never really shared with anyone else before. And this was happening around the time, about 8 years ago, as I was explaining about the time of the confidence crisis. And I happened to be visiting my hometown, which is a tiny farm community in South Dakota. And I was spending time with one of my oldest friends. We've been friends since probably 8 years old, so well into a 30-year friendship. And because I was in therapy and working through some of those things, I really wanted to share with her what was going on, but I was scared to do that because I had always been the one that was the listener, the one that people came to for advice and all of that. And I was nervous about, well, what if I share this deep, deep thing that's going on or that had gone on? And, she looks at me in a different way than she has in the past. But I'm happy to say that it couldn't have gone better. And much to my surprise, she actually shared things that she'd never shared with anyone else either. So she was vulnerable back to me. And so if you think about the relationships that you have in your life and the connections that you have in life, just take a moment and think about that. What level of vulnerability and openness have you shared in those relationships? And certainly there's a correlation between the two. So as promised, I wanted to move into the 3 steps confident builder process. And so this 3-step process, this cycle illustrates how if we can calm our fears or calm our nervous system, it allows us to take some action, which then in turn leads us the opportunity to apply some learnings. And then as we apply our learnings, we become more confident. And then making it easier to calm our fears. And then it just continues on that cycle of growth and success. So if we can get into that cycle, we can build our confidence. And so that first step of calming our mind and our fears. So I've listed some things, some reminders and some ideas around how to calm the nervous system. And perhaps you do some of these things. If you don't, I definitely encourage you to try a few different things so that you can get into a more calm space as you get ready to take action. Because that's really the goal. That's really where the magic is going to happen. And, I think a lot of people think that confidence will happen when something else happens. So for example, I'll feel confident when I fill in the blank, when I lose the weight, when I have a relationship, when I get a promotion, when I have another degree, whatever it is. People think that they'll wait, and when they feel more confident, that's when they'll take action. And unfortunately, that is not how it works. It's exactly the opposite. We have to get into action first, and then that's when the confidence muscle, as shown in this process, this 3-step process, that's when it all comes together. And so then applying our learnings there, that step. So this is where it's really that opportunity to build resilience and be our authentic selves. And the most important part in this particular step is to give yourself grace and compassion. Because again, we're learning. It might be something that you've never done before, and it's just going to take some more practice. So if the fear and doubt creeps in, which it likely will, because that's how the brain is wired, unfortunately, it's meant to keep us safe, but we feel fear when we think about getting outside of our comfort zone. So remember this: no one can do exactly what you can do in the exact way that you can do it. So this sort of goes back to that idea of kintsugi, right? Showing our goal, the most valuable parts of ourselves that we've been able to survive through. So this could be a great mantra. You could say this out loud over and over again until that can, calm you down, until you're ready to take that action. So as a thank you for attending today, I want to gift a complimentary 30-minute session with me This is a little bit different than what I normally do. There's no agenda. You can use the time in any way that you would like, whether that's talking through in more detail about some of the items that I've discussed today, whether it's talking through how to break down a specific goal that you're working on into smaller actionable steps. It can be to ask me any questions you want, whatever it is. So there's no strings attached, no commitment whatsoever. It's just an opportunity as a thank you to have some more time, and perhaps if there's a way that I can help you, I'm happy to do that. And so you can scan the QR code and that will book into my calendar. And so if that seems of interest to you at all, I highly, highly encourage you to take advantage of that. Even if it seems scary, taking that simple action of booking into my calendar, that could be the first step in helping you become more confident being you. So thank you so much for your time and attention. And here is my additional contact information. And I want to wish you all a fabulous rest of your day.